Emotionally damaged people are always sexually promiscuous. Let me say this again. If you are traumatized, if you are emotionally damaged, you are promiscuous. And do you want to know why?
Dang.
Why is that?
Emotionally traumatized people require constant validation from others.
What's good, YouTube? This is KB LaFleur. You can call me KB. Welcome back to another video, man. We got a pretty good one, man. We got Dr. Umar, man. We got Dr. Umar spitting some gems. And pretty much, man, talking about, women who are pretty much emotionally damaged, right? And once again, that can fall under so many things, right? Where they've been in an abusive relationship, where they've, had traumatic experiences as a child, dealing, could be someone in their family, somebody did something to them when they were younger. So they tend to carry that. They carry that with themselves when they get older, pretty much use that as a foundation of, hey, this is why I might act the way I'm acting today. This is why you might see me as the person that you see me as or whatnot. He's speaking facts, right? He's speaking facts. And I think, once again, it's just part of the conversation, right? There's a lot of conversation I think a lot of people do not want to have, and this is just one of them, where you have women who are emotionally damaged, and once again, these are the same people who want men and women to give them an understanding, but in the famous words of Kevin Samuels, nobody owes you an understanding, right? However, of course, man, if you have a heart, you're going to want to at least be understanding to some degree as to why certain people go through what they go through. And it's not to say that you don't have a heart, even if you don't want to understand them. I don't blame you, right? But once again, dealing with someone who has a lot of baggage, a lot of emotional trauma, and a lot of just emotions in general, you're gonna be dealing with a lot of headaches, right? Because number one, let's just talk about it. Let's just throw it out there. Great, right? Great. Women who have to endure that sometimes, it kind of changes them, right? A lot of them don't want to be touched. You try to touch them, it skews their perception of reality, right? And once again, I can't blame them for that. I can't blame them for that. But as a man, you have to, if you're willing to date that, you have to accept that, and you have to put up with that. And once again, it's not to sit over here and say it's a bad thing, but once again, I would like to jump into my relationship and just start working on my relationship with her and get that better. But when you're dealing with somebody who has emotional baggage or emotional trauma, you're gonna have to deal with that first before you can even start actually dealing with the relationship, right? Because once again, you're dealing with that, you're trying to sit over here, trying to make love to her, trying to touch her. She's not willing to open up to that because, hey, another man destroyed that, right? And once again, I hate it, right? Because shouldn't no woman ever have to endure that or ever have to go through that? Because like I said, it literally messes up their reality, right? It messes up the reality. And now, number one, you're leaving it for somebody else. They have to sit over here and pick up the pieces and put everything back together. But not only that, no telling if this woman is going to recover from that. So when you have somebody like Dr. Umar, somebody like myself, right? People in the red pill who wants to bring this up. So many women try to push a narrative that, y'all are not understanding, y'all aren't sympathetic, y'all just, y'all don't even want to take the time out to at least understand someone. Now listen, when you look at a lot of your strippers, a lot of your women who are on OnlyFans, a lot of your women who is into the sex industry, a lot of them have emotional trauma. That's the biggest reason why they are doing what they are doing. It's because of what they endured well before they've even decided to jump into that industry. People understand that, right? I try to deal with a woman, man, who had emotional baggage, right? Something happened to her. I'm sitting over here trying to deal with her, trying to date her. I was even taking it slow with her. I'm like, man, look, hey, man, look, I really care about you. If I really care about you, sex is the last thing that's on my mind, right? Even when I'm just simply trying to do something, like maybe just kiss, grab a little feel. No, I don't want to know. Okay, but mind you, she never told me what it was. She never told me why she was so standoffish. And we've been talking for a long time. So I'm just sitting there like, man, like, this is just not you. But you know what, hey, and it got to the point where I'm like, I'm putting so much into this to this whatever we got going on, but you're not reciprocating value, not knowing, right, that she pretty much went through a crazy situation, right? So now she's looking at men differently. Well, you know, she's mad standoffish. I don't want to, you know, I'm just not into it. Yeah. You're just like, damn, bro, is there something that I did? Fast forward, right? And this is another reason, once again, you know, I think you should say something, because once again, this allows a man to be able to figure out what he wants to do, but at the same time, once again, nobody want to have that conversation, but it allows the man to figure out what he wants to do and how he wants to approach it. I'm sitting over here, man, trying to take her out to go get something to eat, you know, once again, just mad standoffish. So she fast forward, she ended up telling me, hey, well, you know what? You know, I just think, man, we can just be friends right now. So of course I was mad. I'm like, man, look, I've got enough of those. I don't need a friend. I just said, man, forget it, man. You know, look, cool. And then literally ended up finding another girl like a couple of days later. But she ended up, maybe like a year or two later, ended up telling me the full situation as to why she was feeling that way. But it was like, number one, it was too late. You know, now, I mean, like, you know, shit, we could have been had kids by now. You know, hell. You know, and no telling how I would have probably reacted towards that situation. You know, but at the same time, it's just like, once again, see, I'm sitting over here trying to move on. I'm sitting over here trying to build a relationship with you, trying to take things seriously, right? I want you to be my wife. But then, like I said, you're so standoffish because of the trauma that was caused by another man. So you're walking around with emotional baggage, dealing with me, right? I'm sitting over here enduring that shit, not knowing why I'm enduring it, not knowing what the root issue is. I'm just sitting over here I guess, I don't know, maybe I done pissed her off for the past 2-3 weeks, but no, it's because emotional baggage, emotional trauma. So we couldn't do anything. We couldn't do anything. So let's go ahead and see what Dr. Umar has to say.
Emotionally damaged people are always sexually promiscuous. Let me say this again. If you are traumatized, if you are emotionally damaged, you are promiscuous. And do you want to know why?
Why is that?
Emotionally traumatized people require constant validation from others. You married to a woman who's been traumatized, abuse, abandonment, whatever. When you're not around her for too many days, she has to entertain another man because her trauma dictates constant validation. And constant validation means I must have a man in my personal space. You ever date a woman who was crazy about you? She absolutely loved you, so you thought. It was really addiction.
Yeah.
When you finally let her go, when you finally got her to stop stalking you, she ended up with another man like that. And your ego took a hit. You said, wait a minute. I know that woman was crazy about me. Climbed in my window, came to my... You understand? She was... She was crazy about your presence in her life. And the minute you distance yourself from her life, she found a replacement without a problem. Emotionally damaged people are promiscuous because they cannot go without constant validation.
They need...
You know, like I said, man, hey, that's facts, right? That's facts. Now, like I said, there's obviously going to be different scenarios. A woman is either going to be an attention-seeking, you know, like I said, ones that just go straight to jumping in, being, once again, they try to excuse that piss boy behavior. Well, this is why I'm stripping. Well, this is why, man, I have so much damn sex with so many different men because they did this to me when I was younger, right? Or they're going to be very standoffish, right? Like I said, I've dealt with at least a few women who were like, who had emotional baggage, right? Who brought a lot of emotional trauma, right? A lot of them were standoffish. They had, man, you know, I don't want to deal with that. Or they're just going to go straight into being, you know, straight into the sex work, which is why I said most of your strippers and sex workers, OnlyFans, all these people who are in that sex industry, a lot of times and a lot of reasons they are jumping into that is because of what they experienced in the past before they even decided to jump into that industry. And once again, I think this is just a conversation a lot of people do not want to have because they feel that, right, because it's only men who are going to be feeling this way and saying this way and saying, hey, well, look, I don't want to deal with a woman, man, who's, you know, who is carrying a lot of emotional baggage and a lot of emotional trauma from dealing with the men that she used to deal with, or because, I don't know, she got raped or something. I'll always put that in there because that would turn a lot of guys away because once again, they're looking at that like, well, damn, well, number one, somebody just took advantage of me. right? But number two, you know, and if you want to look at it, it's almost like another man looking at her like, damn, another man just got a one up on me, and I'm not even dating you, right? That's how I interpret it. That's how a lot of guys that I've talked to see it as, right? Well, shit, they didn't know. Well, she pretty much, he pretty much got a one up on me, man. It, like, I'm gonna have to deal with that trauma. It's pretty much baggage another man has to deal with. And once again, it's not to sit over here and put down any woman. It's not to sit over here and say, well, y'all women aren't, you ain't worth anything, you know, after that situation happened to you. No, you see a lot of relationships, man, flourish, you know, where guys were understanding and say, you know what, hey, okay, well, we can work through this together, and they fix it, you know. But most men are not going, once again, are not going to be understanding. Most men are not going to give you that understanding, right? Most men don't have to give you that understanding. But there's a reason why a lot of men look at that and say, hey, I don't want no parts of it, because not only are you dealing with knowing that a man just took advantage of this woman, took advantage of your woman, but you have to freaking sit over here and put up with the emotional trauma that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, that's just a conversation I think that's just a conversation, man, we need to have. We gotta have, man, because once again, we can't keep demonizing men for not wanting to date sex workers. We're not gonna keep demonizing men, you know, because they saying, hey, well, you know, I don't want to deal with no single mother. Right, that falls in the same category as this, right? Where men don't want to deal with single mothers, and women are sitting over here saying, well, you're not a real man. Real men gonna take care of another man's child, and all that bull crap. Like, nah, man, like, no, a man is not obligated to do any of that, right? A man is not obligated to do any of that. If you want to, that's fine, right? And other men will definitely, man, crucify his ass for that. And they'll say, hey, man, look, man, you need to think about what you're doing. But once again, be understanding that the guy may not want to deal with that. Right? Be understanding that the guy may not want to deal with that, because once again, that's trauma he's going to have to put up with too. So y'all do me a huge service, man. Y'all let me know down below, man. Am I right or am I wrong? You know, how do y'all feel about it? Because like I said, once again, nobody owes women an understanding. Nobody owes a man an understanding, right? But at the end of the day, I get that, you know, hey, we need to be more sympathetic. But understand, at the end of the day, nobody owes you an understanding. Y'all do me a huge service. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and leave me a subscribe.